In this video, I wanted to talk to you a little bit about being too open-minded in your job search and the benefits and mostly the setbacks that you will experience if this is how you find your job search going. Now, why did I feel like it's important to make this video? Too many job seekers that I speak to will say to me when they're having a rough time in their job search, hey, I'm open-minded. I don't really mind where I work. I don't really care about the industry, the company. I just want to get into a good job with a good culture. And there's a couple of fallacies within that because a good job and a good culture means different things to different people. But the problem here that you're going to face is, hey, I'm open minded. And that's where you're going wrong. Because the reason the job market is so difficult at the moment for you and most job seekers, it's not just you if you don't have experience, or even you if you do have experience. Everybody across the board is having a tough time. Market saturation is the issue, which means there's too many people applying for jobs and there's too many people that are open minded. Companies have a problem of having 5,000 resumes, 5,000 CVs, 2,000 CVs, 10,000 CVs. Bank of America had, I think, 122,000 applications for an internship program in the States. And imagine if everybody's open minded. Everybody looks the same. Everybody just wants a job. They want good culture, a good industry, whatever that means. And then the company really has a tough time assessing who would be the right fit. Why do you want to work here? I mean, if you think about it, companies ask these questions in interviews to assess whether you are laser focused on that industry, that company, that job role. Yes, I'm sure you're very passionate about paying your bills, and we all are, but you want to get into a company where you're going to be excited about going in on a Monday morning when it's Sunday evening, right? And companies want to know that you want to work there. So saying, hey, I'm open minded actually does not help at all. It devalues your job search. I want to paint a little picture as an example. Let's assume that I send you to Amazon and I send another candidate to Amazon to compete with you. Now you are open minded. You're like, I don't mind. Any company will do, any job will do. I'm really passionate, whatever that means again. So you're there. And then I've got another candidate who knows everything about Amazon. They know the industry that Amazon operates in, or multiple industries. They know the company culture. They know the teamwork ethic. They know the soft skills Amazon looks for that particular job. And then they interview you and they interview that candidate. Who do you think gets the offer? Exactly. The person who knows what they're looking for, because they're going to impress upon the company that they are the right fit. You see, companies aren't looking at you just for your experience. They're looking at you in terms of, are you going to fit in with the team? Are you going to work well within the product offering that they have? Is it an industry you're truly passionate about? So being open-minded diminishes your sellability, your pitch, your elevator pitch, you're the product and you're not selling yourself because you're not kind of like tapping into something, right? So you need to know what you're looking for to find it. And in your job search, if you're open-minded, you don't give yourself a chance that will actually help you get a role. Now let's change your outlook completely and let's look at an industry you like. Let's assume that you want to work in AI. And AI is interesting to you because it's a new technology. It piques your curiosity. You want to work in a startup because a startup makes sense when you don't have all the experience, but you want to build a lot of experience very quickly. So the career progression element is there and you find that exciting. You want to be able to think on your feet. You handle pressure really well. You want to be able to career progress faster into a promotional pathway, faster than, let's say, an established business. That's you being picky. Now, that doesn't make sense for everybody. That makes sense for a specific job seeker. Another job seeker might say, look, I like finance. I like traditional finance. It's hierarchical, it's structured. I want to be able to slot into a machine that will then build my experience and give me a clear pathway. And I just need to be told what to do. I can think on my feet, but I would rather just slot into a traditional environment. And there's no, right or wrong, scenario with this. It's just what works for you. But imagine if you don't allow yourself to say that to the company that can provide that. So if a company says, why should we hire you? And they're looking for someone, let's say the AI startup example, they're looking for someone who wants to think on their feet, wants to career progress faster. They want to work with a team that's agile. You have all these soft skills like adaptability, communication, teamwork. You have all of these things, and that's what they're looking for you to say. And then you say, yeah, I'm open-minded, don't really mind. Do you think they're going to hire you? Probably not. And equally, the structured financial institution, they want to know and they want to hear you use words like hierarchical, meritocratic. These are two company cultures that I quote quite a lot in these videos because they're just so different. You have an AI startup and you have a finance firm. Maybe you like the best of both worlds. Maybe it's the fintech space, right? So if you look at fintech and then you find a company that's not really a startup, they've kind of passed that stage. They're not really a super established business like Goldman Sachs, for example, but they're somewhere in the middle. But they're exciting, and you find that exciting because you like the best of both worlds. You want a structured environment that allows you to career progress faster, right? So that's what you're looking for. Now, here's a little bit of a key element in your job search. If you, for the next month, apply to 100 jobs, and you reached out to 100 people, do you think, if you're looking for an AI startup environment, do you think your job search would go better if you connected to 100 random companies, 100 random people, or you connected to 100 startups and 100 people who have decision-making ability in startups? So two realities. You spend the next month entering both realities. One reality, you're open-minded, you kind of connect to everybody, you apply to everything. You're probably going to be in the same position you are today watching this video, because the reason you're watching this video is because your job search isn't going as well as you'd hoped. And the reason is you're kind of in this like self-fulfilling loop of insanity, which is like, I'm just going to keep applying. I'm going to be open-minded. I'm going to show companies that I can do any job. When companies want to know that you want to do their job, their industry, their product, their service, their company. So then you go down the route of, okay, I'm going to be laser focused. And there's a little bit of a paradox to this, because you think, well, I can't be super, picky because I don't have the experience. Or you might be leaving college, university, you might not have experience in that industry, and it makes sense to not be super picky. I get that. But the job market right now rewards people who are laser focused, who want to do a particular job for a particular genuine reason. So if you're a teacher right now and you want to be a data scientist, you need to delve deep into the transferable skills that you have, which is your first line of thought. Do I have transferable skills as a teacher? Okay, you probably do. I can tell you for a fact you do. But then to make it a little bit easier on you, pick an industry. Pharmaceuticals, company size, a specific soft skill you might have. Teachers are very good at communication, at handling pressure. I mean, if you're teaching a group of 30 students, whether they're teenagers or, younger, that's still a difficult job. And pharmaceutical data analysis might have a similar element of pressure, not with teaching people, but just, sticking to deadlines, right? So then the transferable is there. But then if you're specifically looking at a pharmaceutical space and you genuinely have an interest, then you can show that in the quality of your CV, resume, the quality of the way you network. If you reach out to senior data analysts in pharmaceutical companies, you ask genuine questions, and then you ask them for recommendations, referrals, intel to strengthen your application, and you're laser focused on one industry, the open-minded nature doesn't look so good now. So don't be open-minded in your job search, because the company's not going to be super open-minded about who they hire. It's not really a connection here, right? You're being open-minded. The company isn't. The company knows what they're looking for. They want someone with X amount of experience, even though that's always here and there. They're pretty open to experience nowadays. Company culture. Are you going to fit in with the team? They're not going to be open-minded about that. They want to know if you're going to fit in with the team. They're going to want to know if you have the soft skills. If the role requires stakeholder communication, which is, i.e., speaking to people, and you have no communication skills, they're not going to be open-minded to hiring you. Well, he or she doesn't have communication. Let's just give them a job. It doesn't really work like that. They're going to want to know if you are a good communicator. Are you going to work well within the team? Are you going to be the right company culture fit? And that's going to be a non-negotiable. They're not going to be open-minded about that. They're going to be pretty laser focused. So you need to be doing that in the same way. And before you start having these, negative thoughts, well, Milo, it's easy for you to say that, but for me, I'm not confident. Get confident. Just do it. Because if you do it and you start seeing better results, it's the difference between you not joining a company, worse, joining a bad company, leaving in 6 months, starting this whole process again, and then trying to find a good company. You can potentially lose out a year of your life, which is extremely valuable. I mean, a year of your life, just money aside, money-wise, let's say you're looking at a 50K salary position, GBP, that's about what, £3,000? That's £36,000 a year. If it's in the States, it's probably a little bit more depending on the job. You're losing out on $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 by just joining the wrong company because you're too open-minded. And that's if you get an offer. If you don't get an offer, even worse, because you're not progressing. You're Candidate, employee, job seeker value stays the same. You're not progressing at all. And that's the cost of being open-minded. Get specific. If you're not confident, get confident by doing stuff. Reach out to people. Fail forward. If you reach out to 10 people, 9 ignore you, 1 accepted, 1 responded, no application shortlisted, look at the data. Okay, why did that happen? Maybe you were being too open-minded with your outreach. Maybe the CV you were using was just ChatGPT each time and you were just open-minded about having a good CV. Get specific. Focus on one industry or one company culture type, company size, product service, and just try it. You might actually surprise yourself with getting better results. And when you do, you'll think back to this video and think, okay, that makes sense now because I can just get better responses in the field. And also, if you think about this, let's say you get an interview. Do you feel that you would have a better interview experience if you join a company that you're open-minded about or a company you really want to be in? So the company that you're open-minded about, why do you want to work in robotics? Well, I don't. I just want to pay my bills. Do you think you're going to get that job? Probably not. Why do you want to work in pharmaceuticals? Well, hey, look, I love everything about pharmaceutical healthcare. I think it's the future. It's exciting to me. I'm curious. I want to know, how I can contribute to this. I want to make a positive impact. Now, if that's you, you sound a lot better joining a pharmaceutical company than a robotics company. So the open-mindedness is costing your edge. You're not being yourself. You're not giving yourself a chance even when you get an interview. If you get an interview being open-minded, that's a big if. But if that happens, then the interview process, you're going to be thinking, oh my God, I need to kind of lie about joining this type of company. I don't really want to work in robotics. I don't care about it. Tesla bots are going to take over the world in 7 years. Cool. I don't really care. Maybe I'll get one, but I really want to work in healthcare. If that's you, then go into healthcare. Be super specific about where you want to go. And if you do that, what you'll notice is more companies come back to you. When they ask you, hey, why do you want to work here? Your answers are going to be genuine. You're going to feel proud of yourself. Your interview process is going to go that much smoother. They're going to call you back. Hey, we would like to offer you a position. And you're going to think, because I really want to work there and I showed it. And that's what you need to do. That's why open-mindedness in your job search will cost you a job. It'll cost you time, cost you money, cost you nerves. And let's face it, you're watching these videos because it's been a while and you haven't gotten into a job. Or you're watching this video, even better, you're just starting a job search and you kind of see that something's off in the job market. So do not be open-minded in your job search. Be open-minded when it comes to how you sell yourself and having thoughts about how you can improve your job search. That's a place to be open-minded about, but be super specific about how you job search. If you found this video helpful, link in the description. You can work with me and my team. If you want to connect with me on LinkedIn, please do. Also, big ask, if I may, like and subscribe. Costs you nothing, means the world to me. And hopefully I'll see you on the next video.